Hello everyone and welcome to today's video. We are going to talk about Microsoft Fabric Purview in this video. And what is Purview? This is a unified data governance plus compliance solution offered within Fabric. So let's explore this topic further. First thing first, this is going to be the outline of my talk. First, we will discuss about the problem of the data chaos which exists, and at a glance we will have a look how Purview is a solution to this problem. We will see also that where Purview sits in Fabric, and then we will discuss a bit deep into Purview, and we will see that what are actually the four pillars of Purview, and then we will see that how these features actually come into action within Purview, and within Purview how the sequence of different features actually work. In the end, we will wrap it up with a recap slide and plus few quiz questions. So let's start. And let's start with an easy to understand example. This is an example of a city where we do not have any traffic rules. This means we do not have any indication of which route to take, any indication, any kind of signals, and so on. If we have to navigate within this city, this is going to be really difficult because then we do not know how to get to a certain location. And let's take an example of an enterprises of a company, let's call it the best company, with three of its department, which is sales, marketing, and finance. In this department, since we have in this company, since we have various department, every department might be saving their data into different location plus in different formats. And what can it lead to? It lead to such situation where we have data which is found everywhere, and this give rise to compliance risk. And this leads to certainly to a situation where we do not have a clear visibility of the data. We do not have any control over the data. It can be everywhere, and plus no one trusts the data that which is the single source of truth, because we do not have any single source of truth in this case. When we understand this example, let's go back to this example once. And if, for example, in this case, if we have some navigation app, let's say like a Google Maps, then with the Google Maps, it will be much easier to navigate from one place to another. In the same way that Google Map can help to navigate in this city, the same way Purview claims to be kind of a Google Map where you can achieve the clarity from this chaos. And we will explore the topic, of course, in further how Purview does that. But first, have a look at the anatomy of Fabric first, and let's see where Purview sits. So we know that Fabric is a unified data platform, in which we have various tools and services lies under a hood. So all of them are actually integrated. They are connected to one storage layer, which is called one lake, and we also have one compute, so a single compute in which all these tools and storage layer works. Where Purview sits, Purview is actually the governance layer, security and governance, and so all the data which is lying there, it is governed under this single layer of Purview. With this, we now also have understanding of the anatomy of Fabric and where actually Purview is sitting. With that one, let's jump into the topic of what is the main pillar of Purview. And so we will have an idea what exactly Purview is doing in Fabric. So first layer is data cataloging. Yeah, the cataloging is like telling you what exists. And if we go back to our Google Maps, we can think about it's like a basic map. And the basic map tell you what is located where. Exactly, the data catalog is the same thing for data. Then it's about data discovery. And for example, in the Google Maps, you can easily search your locations. In the same way, we can discover the data here very easily. And then it comes to lineage. Lineage, you can compare it with finding the routes, how to go from point 1 to point 2. And here, for example, in this data world, we have the data travels from one to another layer, and the lineage, the traceability of this data is possible through Purview. And finally, it is also the security and compliance is a crucial topic, and it ensures that it is used responsibly. Now we saw the four pillars of Purview in a glance, and let's see those features in action with a bit more detail and with example of Fabric Asset. So first one was catalog. So the catalog in simple word is what actually exists, what kind of data exist. And in this case, like within the Purview, Fabric assets appear with owner and glossary term, which means who owns the data and what are the glossary terms or the tag which is associated with the data. And the Fabric assets can be anywhere. This means they can be on the Lakehouse, warehouse, etc. The second thing is about the discovery. And this is about finding the governed data fast. So you can search the catalog and you can filter by owner and label. And if you think about the data world, this can be, you can think about how easy it is, because if a business person, for example, needs certain data, they have to contact the IT department, and the IT department will look at the data, and this can take a while. However, just like a Google search, one can easily search the data inside and the process become much quicker. Then about the lineage. So lineage, and the value is trust with traceability. And what exactly does it mean? So we have, let's say in a typical ETL pipeline, we have various layers, which means bronze, silver, and gold. And in the bronze, we have usually the raw data, and we clean it in silver. And then finally, the gold layer, in which we have final curated data, which is used for the Power BI report. So the traceability from one layer to another is totally possible, and this is managed in Purview. Then about the security and compliance layer, and this is about using the data responsibly. So what actually happens that you have the PII, and in this Purview, this is auto classified. So this means if we have certain sensitive data, let's say email or IBAN of customers, it can be scanned and it will be auto classified. And this sensitivity level will propagate to Power BI. So this scan or this detection actually happens as soon as the data lands in the bronze layer. So when we have the raw data, this will be scanned, and it will be tagged, sensitivity will be tagged, and this will flow to the Power BI. So the integration on ownership layer is like it provides one view across tools. So you register the fabric sources, various fabric sources, which means it can be Lakehouse or Warehouse or Power BI, and all of this data is available under a single view with the respective owner and glossary. Now we have an overview also with all the features in action, and we understand that what exactly is taking place, what exactly is happening within the purview, and with that one, actually how it happens step by step. Let's have a look. So how it works in Fabric. So first thing is registering of the data. So we have various sources as we discussed. It can be Lakehouse, Warehouse, Power BI, and it is happened to a certain collection. So we actually registered all of these sources under a certain collection, and then yeah, we are able to see all of these data sources. And then scanning and classification classifiers. So the scanning kind of, you can think about, this is the scanning which is taking place here, and we have scheduled metadata scans is possible, and we have built-in custom PII classifiers and built-in plus custom. So we have built-in which are able to, of course, detect the sensitive information, and plus we can also have custom PII classifiers. And you can think about these two as a setup. So these two steps are actually the setup that you do with the data in Purview. The third step is about catalog and glossary, which is kind of the inventory of the data assets, and the data assets are visible with owner and glossary terms. Then the users can be guided with the trusted data set with badges assigned to the data assets. The fourth is the search and lineage. As we said that Google-like indexing is there. So the searching is also like a Google. So you can search the data easily with the owner names or labels. The fifth and the last step is about policies and access, and this is kind of thing which is enforced. So when the data lands in the bronze layer, then the sensitive data is labeled, and this label propagates through various layers into the Power BI layer, and this sensitivity is actually honored also in Power BI. Then also about the access control, which actually you define within Fabric, and this is also respected in Purview. And these three layers can be set as the outcome. So first two are actually the setup, how do you set up the data, and what result is actually seen in the last three steps. Until this point, we have covered the core concept of Purview. And let's go to our last and the recap slide and see what we have learned so far. So we saw here that Purview is actually a governance and compliance layer within Fabric. We saw also that data cataloging and discovery is very fast with the help of Purview. The lineage, which means the traceability of the data within various layers, for example, from bronze to silver to gold to Power BI, is possible in Purview. And we also saw that the security is actually maintained through sensitivity labels, which also carry into Power BI. And so this is the recap, and let's go to our quiz slides to see to test your knowledge. And our first question is, what is the primary role of Microsoft Purview in Fabric? And the options are to store raw data, to execute Spark notebooks, data governance and cataloging, and the last option is scale compute automatically. And the correct answer is, of course, this is the layer for data governance and cataloging. The second question, in Fabric, the best place to auto detect PII is bronze, silver, gold, Power BI. And the correct answer is bronze layer, because as soon as the raw data lands, and this lands is actually in the bronze layer, the scan automatically detects what are the sensitive information, for example, the IBAN or the email address, and this is actually labeled over there. The last question, which of the following is not part of Purview's 4 pillars? And the option is data catalog, discovery, lineage, or data transformation. So the correct answer is data transformation, because all of the other 3 options are actually the part of Purview pillars. With this one, I would like to end this video here. I hope that you like the video and it helped you to understand the concept of Fabric Purview better, and hope to see you in another video very soon.